Welcome to my gym. मैंने सोचा माहौल create किया ना.
That's motivating.
You have to make a mini gym in your own area wherever you are because अभी तो मैंने सिर्फ 2 instrument बोला है खरीदने के लिए, but I'll show you different instruments. Simple things under $30-40. You can actually create a mini gym for yourself for your strength training. And why we require these instruments is to have a variety for the muscles, because muscles get bored with the same instrument. And also the purpose is different too, right? Purpose of each instrument is different and how it trains. So आज मैं थोड़ा theory देने वाली हूँ. Okay, I'm just going to teach a bit of theory first 15 minutes. Why theory is important? Because you should know why muscle strengthening is important. What is the physiology and the chemistry behind it? Because when you know the theory, the knowledge sticks greater and you're highly likely to pursue that. Okay, so I always teach the theory of muscle physiology before the strength training. So why muscle strengthening is important? Anybody?
Forces from the muscles.
Yes, that's true.
I think for them to keep working.
Yes, good answer. So why strengthening is important? The growth of the body is complete till 25 years of age, including the frontal brain. Okay, everything grows till 25. Between 25 to 30, you are at the peak of your youth. Okay, that's why grandmother used to say you should have your kids before 30, between 25 and 30. After 30, the body starts declining. And we don't even realize that, but after 30 starts declining gradually, very gradual process. We lose at least 5 to 10% of muscle fiber every decade. Hair gets thinner, our skin getting different. Similarly, what happens if suppose you have 100 muscle fibers? So muscles are encased in a fascia, like the white sheath around it. So suppose you have 100 muscle fibers, suppose biceps, 100 muscle fiber at the age of 30 years. So by 40, you'll only have 90 muscle fibers left. So that remaining space for the 10 muscle fiber is overtaken by the fat if you don't do muscle strengthening. What do we do muscle strengthening? By muscle strengthening, we are not increasing the muscles. We are just increasing the bulk of the same 90 muscles. So it takes over the load of the 100 fibers. So you are not increasing muscle fiber as such, but you're increasing the bulk of the remaining muscle fiber. So as we age, our work doesn't reduce, does it? The work remains the same. Okay, at least till we are 50, 60, 70, we still keep doing the same work. So it's very important to have that muscle fiber growth, because otherwise you'll start getting strain on the joints. Why strain on the joints? Because you have to understand the joints are just like bricks stacked over each other, like this. Your spine, your shoulder, your knee, hip, anything is just like bones stacked over on top of each other, isn't it? It doesn't have a strength of its own. The strength comes from the muscles and ligaments. So they're called the cement of the skeletal system. So even though your bones have a little arthritis or even a little broken sometime back, if you strengthen your muscles, your pillar will stand. You won't get any aches and pains. I have seen patients with a lot of arthritis in the spine, but they don't have any back pain. So it's a myth that if you have arthritis, you should live in pain. It's a myth. You can take over that pain by strengthening your muscles and ligaments. So muscles strengthen in a different way, ligaments strengthen in a different way. Both are very important. So muscles strengthen by weights and strength training, what we normally understand, what we do in the gym. Ligaments are something that joins bone to a bone, like this bone to this bone. Those are called ligaments. Ligaments don't get strengthened by lifting weights. Ligament gets strengthened only by weight-bearing exercises, like plank, okay, or inverted V. Like when you weight bear on something, then your ligaments get strengthened. Very, very important. So in strength training, we should have a combination of both the free weight training and the ligament training. You understand the difference between ligament and the muscle? Yeah. Ligament is something, it's a non-contract, it's a white tissue. And there's something called fascia. Fascia is, as I said, it covers the muscle. It's a white sheath. It's a slimy sheath which covers the muscle. Suppose it's like a pocket of the muscle in which the muscle fibers are encased. Now, fascia is very, very important. If you don't do any stretches, over the period of time, your fascia gets tight so much that you feel like your muscles are tight. But actually, muscle may not be tight. It's the fascia which is tight. And fascia is a continuous sheath in a body. It doesn't break because from top to bottom, it's one fascia. So if your calf muscle is tight, probably you're going to have neck pain. Calf fascia is tight. You understand? So it's all related. So fascia is so important, and fascia can only be stretched by at least 30 seconds of stretching. It doesn't get stretched otherwise because it's a non-contractile tissue. It's tight. It's very, very tight. So before strength training, we must stretch. So we'll have stretching before muscle strengthening every class. Okay. And slow stretching, very important. And some weight-bearing exercise for our ligaments. And especially when you're using your hands, your wrist ligaments should be very strong, because once you start lifting weight, it's mostly your hands get strained. Okay, you'll feel that. If your ligaments and your shoulder gets strained, because shoulder is, see, they're different joints. So wrist doesn't have a lot of muscle. It mostly has tendons and ligaments. There's no muscle here, right here. Similarly, in the shoulder, there are very few muscles. They have muscles, but they're mostly tendons. Tendons is, again, when the muscle thins and attached to a joint like a rope, it becomes tendon. So shoulder joint is very shallow. It's just like hanging like this. And it's supported by some ropes around it. Whereas hip joint is a ball and socket joint. It's very solid. It's very difficult to injure hip joints. It's very easy to injure the shoulder joint. So you have to be very careful the way you lift your weight. So a little bit of anatomy. So this was the physiology of the muscle. Anatomy, this anatomy divides the body into half, left and right. So this is called median line. So, or anything which is close to the median line is called medial. Anything which is far from median is called distal. Distal and medial, okay, or proximal. Proximal means close to the midline. Anything we bend is called flexion. We extend is extension, okay? Flexion, extension. Lower half the body, when you bend your heel to touch your buttock, that's flexion. When you extend your leg, it's extension. I'll tell you when we stand up and do it. Okay, so that was about little physiology and anatomy. Lifestyle. So if you're into strength training, you're working on your muscle, 3 things must be changed in your lifestyle. First is good food, good exercise, and good sleep. Exercise will take care of it while we're exercising. Food, you must have protein intake improved. For example, you could have sprouts. You could have a lot of chana, at least 3 times a week if it suits your gut. What I take, I'm a vegetarian, so I pay very close attention to what I take. I have sprouts as my breakfast almost every day, at least minimum 3 times a week for sure. And the mung sprouts I make it really nice because I love food. So I chop tomato, cilantro, lemon juice, and some spices in it, and then have a big bowl of sprout. And I also put some raisins, kishmish, and a little bit of cashew pieces, broken pieces into it. So it's a big wholesome breakfast. I almost have it every day to have that. Now, vegetarian protein has a very good added effect that it has a lot of fiber in it. So you have to chew it very slowly. And that chewing is very important because it helps absorption. So 80% of digestion takes place in the saliva. Okay, the chewing is very, very important. You don't have teeth in your gut. So if you're having any kind of protein, vegetarian protein, make sure you chew. And then rajma, beans, lentils, and other dals, you should have a variety. Do not stick to one dal every day. You should have all colored dal, like, different colors. You should have a mixture of these dals every day, or one dal a day, second dal the other day. Okay, so sprouts are good. Almond are very good. So you can soak some. So nuts should not be eaten without unsoaking it. You have to soak the nut at least 8 to 12 hours before you consume them because it releases a chemical to have a better digestive effect for the body. Okay, you should incorporate seeds in your diet. Seeds are a very good source of micro and macronutrients like flax seeds, chia seeds, sunflower seeds. I usually have that in my midday snack. For example, if you take dahi, yogurt, you can make a yogurt drink for yourself. You have to do some preparation for it, for all these things, so that you don't grab a snack which is unhealthy. Like, you should have always a combination of a protein and a carbohydrate and some minerals, of course. Everything, all the meals and the snacks. So what you do a day when you're having a midday snack, you can take some yogurt, put some chia seeds or flax seeds or sesame seeds. You can have a combination of seeds, doesn't matter. Soak it for at least 4 to 4 hours in the morning when you do your breakfast right then, and then have that as a mid-morning snack. You can also put some raisins and you can have it like a snack. Okay.
What is the quantity of flax seeds, chia seeds, and the yogurt?
Like half a teaspoon should be good if you're having it every day.
You just soak it directly in the yogurt, or you soak it in water and then mix?
I soak directly in the yogurt, and I thin the yogurt a little bit, make it like little thicker lassi, you can say.
Yeah.
It should not be too watery, not too solid.
Yeah.
So I put it and shake it in a jar and just leave it. If I have to go to work, I take it with me so that I can have as a mid-morning snack. Or you can have a fruit as a mid-morning snack with some pista. So always have a combination of a carbohydrate and a protein in a snack also. Always keep that in mind. And then hydrate yourself. You require a lot of water also to build up your muscles because 75% of a body is made up of water.
Protein shakes?
Okay, so for protein shake, I make my own protein shake. I don't believe on the commercial protein shakes at all because you don't know how it is processed. I don't eat any commercial products. Processed food. Just चना आता है जो with a black चना फुटाने बोलते हैं महाराष्ट्र में आपके, है ना? Roasted चना, उसको if you grind it, in mixie, in Indian mixie, yeah, coffee grinder, you make a powder out of it. That's called sattu. What I do is I usually mix it and keep it with some sugar and badam. Sugar is optional. I drink that every day, 1 cup, like 3 or 4 tablespoons. That's my protein drink. And that's,
And the black chana comes salted.
no, you can get unsalted too.
Uh-huh. Okay.
But salted is also okay, doesn't matter. Okay, if it's salted also, it doesn't matter. There's a salty version, there's a sweet version. Salty version should have chana, the sattu of the chana, the powder of the chana, and some jeera and some salt. Okay.
Mhm.
So if you add some jeera powder in it, it tastes very good, and some lemon juice. So there's a salty
Uh-huh.
version of that drink and the sweet version of the drink. I alternate, like sometimes it depends on the mood. If I want a salty or sugar, so I don't put any sugar or salt. Sometimes I put sugar, or I put honey sometimes rather than sugar. That is optional for you, but it's a very good source of protein. And then next is good sleep. What happens if you don't sleep before 11 p.m.? Ideal sleep should be between 10 and 11 p.m. If you don't sleep before 11 p.m., there's a hormone called melatonin. Melatonin reduces in the body, which is a sleep hormone. As melatonin reduces, there's another hormone called cortisol that increases. Now, cortisol are produced from top of the kidney. There are 2 glands called adrenal glands. They produce cortisol. And why it's produced? It's activated through a pituitary gland here. There's a pituitary gland, which is called the master gland, which sends a signal, and pituitary gland gets stimulated with the wakefulness. The light is going into the eye, that stimulates the pituitary gland, okay? That sends a signal to adrenal gland that the person is still awake. So you have to keep all the system active. Otherwise, naturally, our system goes into sleep mode after 11 p.m. because melatonin rises. But if the melatonin doesn't rise or reduces, cortisol is produced through the adrenal glands that is over our kidneys. Now, what is this cortisol? The cortisol is important at a particular level because it causes you wakefulness. But if you have constant elevated level of cortisol, the cholesterol in the body increases. It's a precursor of diabetes, thyroid, blood pressure. And very important, it reduces the growth of the muscle. It inhibits muscle growth. Remember that. If you constantly wake up after 11 p.m. I'm not talking about yogis who are siddhas who can remain awake 24/7. I'm talking about normal people like us. So it's very important that you must sleep before midnight, or 11 is the ideal, because the melatonin starts reducing after 12 and cortisol starts getting produced. And if you have constant level of cortisol increase in your body, you get sleep deprived and you cannot go to sleep easily. Okay, then that leads to a disease called insomnia. Okay, so that's good food, good sleep, and then good exercise, which we are going to do it here. So that's why, and the principles of muscle strengthening now. Anything about lifestyle, any questions? All good? Principle of muscle strengthening. So first is the strength of the muscle. That means how much weight can you lift? Whether you can lift 1 kilo or 10 kilo, that's the strength of the muscle. The second is the endurance of the muscle. That means how many repetitions can you do? Okay, so we are going to work on the strength and we are going to work on endurance both. Okay, and there are different instruments for both strength training and endurance training. The third comes as the power of the muscle. What is the power of the muscle? If the physics definition of power, we see force per unit time. So in how much time you can lift that weight. As we grow, we lose the ability of the power of our muscles. So that's why kids can jump easily. We cannot jump. The jumping ability we lose because that jumping requires instantaneous movement of the muscle, isn't it? So we're going to train power too, but not now. Maybe after 2 or 3 months, when the muscle strength and endurance improves, then you can train the power training also. So we're going to work on a power at the last stage. And then there are some mechanical resistance I was showed. So this is dumbbell. This is dumbbell, okay? Buy dumbbell with multiple sockets, like dumbbell which has, we can add more dumbbells. You can get in Amazon. Don't buy a 1-2 pound dumbbell or 5-pound dumbbell. Then you have to keep buying more dumbbells. So buy one with, you can remove the weight and add some more. Club, which I asked you to buy. This is for more functional strength training. Functional means with dumbbell, what you can do, you can move your hand up and down or sideways, simple movement. But in normal life, we don't do simple movements. We don't do like this and this. We do a combination of movement, isn't it? We have to lift something from here or grab something from there. We always do a combination of movement. So that's where this will function. This helps with functional improvement. The next comes the band. This band is very good. So this I was showing. So I'll also send the link to buy the band. This band comes in different colors. So darker the color, higher the resistance. It starts with yellow, then green, then red, then blue. This is very good for tendon injuries because it provides a continuous and then you can control it. Okay, so I'm going to, any kind of wrist strain, like suppose you got a strain doing something, maybe gardening or lifting some pots and pans, weight bearing exercise is very, very good for any kind of wrist injury. Then I asked you to buy this one. Okay, this is simple ankle weight. Later on, this is optional, but you can also buy a foam roller. Okay, foam roller. This is for dynamic strength training. That means on an unstable surface, how much you have power, how we'll progress in our journey from simple to complex. Some precautions. Rest is very important. Listen to your body. Don't go with what I am doing or what the group is doing. Okay, listen to your body. Even if I tell you to do for 1 minute, if 30 seconds you get tired, you get tired. So listen to your body and stop doing it. For beginners, it's usually recommended doing twice a week. So you can start with once a week and then progress to once a week with the group, once a week alone on your own. Not more than that. Because the muscles needs 48 to 72 hours for rest. We should not do strength training every day. All right. Because whenever we train the muscle, something is found which is called lactic acid, which is a byproduct of muscle strengthening or any muscle movement. So more you work out, more lactic acid is formed. And that lactic acid takes time to dissolve or go out of or flush out of the system. All right. So you need that much time, 48 to 72 hours, rest time in between. And there's something called DOMS, DOMS. You should be aware of what is DOMS. DOMS is delayed onset muscle soreness. So you may not get pain today, but after 24 hours, the pain starts building up, 24 to 48 hours. That's called DOMS. Okay, delayed onset. So it's okay. It's normal. But what you do is you take rest. You don't have to, or you can put some little cold pack or something to ease off the pain. So the signs of DOMS is stiffness, like you'll feel stiff, your neck is stiff, your shoulder is stiff. That's normal reaction for muscle strengthening. Don't get afraid. Don't run to the doctor. You run to the doctor only if it lasts for more than 3 days. Doctor will also not do anything. I'm telling you, they'll just give you Tylenol, painkiller. Okay. Muscle pain, stiffness, tenderness, touch, pain on touch, and then swelling also you may get if you have injured yourself during strength training. But everything requires just rest and ice pack, nothing else. And some little massage, gentle massage is also helpful if you get DOMS. So first of all, keep in mind age-related muscle loss is normal. Okay, so don't worry about that. Second is the more we do, more strength and endurance we develop. So today we'll start with some upper extremity strengthening. But before that, we need to stretch. I think that's pretty much it for the muscle strengthening theory part. So let's stand up. I'll also change my camera position and the virtual background to normal background now, coming back to reality.